And we're back in the scouting rounds. Team THRLL Day 2. Going right into the first game, the finals of the lower bracket. Team Vounghuard against Team Beora. Jasper, what are we expecting after yesterday?
I'm expecting big things right
Big
here.
things.
I'm expecting IMK's Nerea to be a bit more of a nuisance this game. He is, of course, he did yesterday, of course, play the Nico top into Shen, which is not a very playable lane for Shen. However, he is, a very strong top laner, so I'm expecting him to pick up something along the lines of Camille Fiora. While Camille is of course banned, but something along the lines of those types of champions, more comfort pick type champions for him.
Yeah, you see the immediate Camille ban coming out against Nerea. They do not want to give that champ to him. Nico, however, not being banned wasn't his biggest success yesterday. In the last game went 0-5 or 0-8 maybe even at the end. Wasn't the best performance. Rek'Sai has been banned, but Elise is still open for scary mode, which is one of his comfort picks and wasn't able to come true in the last game, so wouldn't be surprised if it would be picked up here. Ivern, that would surprise me if they would lock that one in.
Yeah, we saw Ivern being hovered yesterday as well. Did not get picked up. Rek'Sai was taken away here from scary mode. His Elise is still open, of course, so that's a possibility for him. Also, I think he played a great Hecarim game yesterday, so there's the options there. Are gonna go for the mid pick here first. Want that Orianna, which is rather strange. We've seen a lot of ADs being picked up very early on, and at this point they're choosing to not do that at this point.
And normally you're waiting with your mid laner till the end because you have to see how the teams play out first, but here they're quite confident in the Orianna to make their team come clear. And the Nasus coming through in top lane, so this is a really strange draft. We would not have expected Vounghuard to go for this pick. Usually he is a tank player, but Nasus is a different category. Usually building the Divine Sunderer now with the changes to Sheen. If you're gonna play against the Nasus, you're gonna have to play something that can really bully him down in the lane, making sure that he isn't able to stack up really. But if you can tone him down, of course he is a late game beast, so that's definitely a little bit of an insurance for their composition there.
Nasus is, however, a placeholder for Samira.
Aha, that is that's a different story. So they do go for the AD carry in the early picks, and top laner will probably be another kind of tank for him there. Finishing it off with the Nautilus, so front line is being assured by Shredder already.
Front line on the Nautilus, of course. Shredder likes to play those types of pretty heavy engage tanks, hooker champions like Thresh, Nautilus, Pike. So a Nautilus right up his alley. I'm gonna be enjoying that pick quite a lot as the second rotation of bans comes through. Also, by the way, we do have a Lucian being picked up on for the likes of blue side. So they do have the Jhin on the AD carry. Lucian, flexible pick towards the top and mid lane. So I'm interested to see where he's actually going to be going.
Probably gonna go for the Lucian mid top lane is possible, but they gonna have to take that in account on the red side at this point of the game. You see the Elise ban coming through now. Was to be expected if they were not gonna pick it early on, not gonna give up that comfort pick to scary mode in the second rotation. Also strange that they didn't go for it on red side. Tells me also with picking Orianna very early on that they have a specific comp that they want to play out, and they're not as much going to react on what the team of Vounghuard is picking at this point. Orianna usually gives you an idea of wanting to go team fight heavy. But hovering the Beora gives you split push opportunity. Not sure if this is something that THRLL plays a lot, but maybe it's good to take it away from Narea in that sense. That's of course his comfort pick.
Yeah, it's not necessarily something THRLL plays a lot, but they would have wanted to take that away maybe from Narea. IMK is of course very comfortable on that champion. They do decide eventually to go for Mundo. Dr. Mundo is Dr. Mundo, so that's not a placeholder this time. They're actually going to play him, so I'm glad to see that we know THRLL likes to play the more tanky type champions. Yes, he did pick up a Silas pick yesterday, but that was very situational in that game. And he's very comfortable on the tank picks. Haven't seen a lot of Mundo out of him, but I'm very interested to see how he's going to be playing. And then we finally get the first Ornn, I believe, of the scouting grounds as well. So that's something I've been looking forward to. And now after all this talk about tanks are very strong this patch, and you know, with Sunfire Aegis, everything that goes along those lines, this is actually the first game where we're seeing two big tanks being played.
We'll have to see, because it's possible that Mundo is a jungle. It's not something that isn't being played at this point, so might be going another route against the Ornn. We'll have to see what they pick here at the end. Don't think it's gonna be the Ahri, or they would have to go for two solo mid laners with the AP. Or no, I get the message instantly. Ahri is Silas, it's a placeholder. So they're gonna put the Silas against the Ornn, which is of course the same story that we had yesterday against Malphite. Just using it to pick the to steal the ult and yeah, kind of counter what the Ornn does.
We are going into a little remake of the draft because of the placeholders and also because of the fact I was not in the lobby. So good thing the placeholders came through and good thing everybody's paying attention. So anyways, the Ahri was indeed a placeholder for Silas, and then the Nasus was a placeholder for... I forgot.
Nasus is a placeholder for...
Nasus is placeholder for Samira. Yes.
They're gonna do it like that, and as I said, Silas, same story as yesterday. Good pick against heavy engage champions that rely on their ult, like the Ornn, like the Malphite. And yeah, we'll have to see how Ahri will be able to play her lane in this game, because or no, it wasn't Ahri, it was a Silas, it was the Orianna that was picked very early. Going to see how she will be doing it. So a great game from Bendix yesterday on this champion, and Killakin, who has shown that he can play the assassins, but can he play these control champions? We'll see it in this game.
Yeah, we saw a great game out of Killakin yesterday in the form of an Echo, of course, which he does enjoy a lot. He had played the phase of the game before, which didn't really come out quite as well as he had planned there. But now picking up the Orianna, so something he's probably relatively comfortable with. Not maybe his first picks to him, but I'm assuming they're going to be rather comfortable with that. And now we do, of course, see, because of the Silas top, it's going to be a Dr. Mundo in the jungle, giving a completely new... I'm assuming, right? Yeah, it's going to be Dr. Mundo in the jungle, giving us a new type of draft that we thought it would be.
Yeah, and I love it because it gives you this insanely tanky late game power, which we have to deal with, and you have two AD carries, so this gives Mundo the opportunity to just build full armor against them. It will be very hard to take him down, and Evelyn, of course, a champion, does not want to go for the Mundo in a team fight. She wants to assassinate that backline, and yeah, while that Mundo is unkillable if nobody is able to Shrek it with AD, that is gonna be a tough position to be in. But of course he has to get there. Mundo early on pretty weak compared to many other junglers, so we'll see if he is able to get through, or if he's gonna have a deja vu of his Nocturne game yesterday, which was of course against the Lilia of Chukuto, who was insanely fat and just, yeah, made it impossible for him to play. So must have a plan for his jungle rotation this game, or he won't be able to get there.
Right, so we're gonna get the Ornn most likely in top lane. Could be Ornn mid, I'm assuming they could go for that. Probably not going to though. And I need to sneeze. Sorry. It left. Never mind. Sorry.
Left the building. It's okay.
It left the building. My sneeze did not come through. Evelyn, by the way, being picked up here by Pfizer. We talked about it a little bit yesterday. He likes the Evelyn a lot. It is, I think, his most played champion at this point. Really enjoys playing the invisible assassin-y type junglers with the Evelyn and the Rengar, but now picking up the Evelyn, which is also going to be the main source of magic damage from his team. As you said before, not going to want to go for the Mundo. Does of course have the magic resist shred in her kit, so not completely impossible. Also, Mundo is, like you said, most likely going to be building armor, so the Evelyn could, in theory, excuse me, go for the Mundo. And something else, blue side, maybe anti-heal, probably a good idea.
It is definitely a good idea against the Mundo and the Samira, the Sylas. It's all of those champions have so much healing in the fights. And as we're speaking about the two AD carries, it is technically possible for Gil to go AP Lucian, because it has been buffed a little, if I am not mistaken. I don't expect to see it, but it would be really cool if he pulled that little rabbit out of the hat and could be successful with it, but doubt it very much. Of course, AD Lucian being the lane bully that we know will be the way to go for him here with the Kraken Slayer. Probably a good idea against this team where you will need the steady amounts of damage coming through to shred those frontline. And it's nice to see two teams with a decent frontline. Gonna be this big old noodle battle in the front, and then the boys at the back trying to do the deeps. So wondering whose noodle will hold on the longest in those fights.
Alright, and as we are approaching the 3-minute delay mark, both teams have started the game. We of course have to wait a couple more minutes, minute and 40 seconds left to go. Both teams here, Team Beora going for the red side here, Team Vounghuard on blue side. The winner of this game, it is still a best of 1. The final will be a best of 3 between the winner of this game and then of course the big winner of yesterday's brackets, which was Team Series, who went straight through to the finals. They are going to be watching this game rather closely to see which of these two teams is going to be the better one, and you know, maybe what are they going to play, what are they not going to play, what are we scared of, what are we not scared of. And I'm intrigued to see at this point, and there's the question immediately to you, Joe, which of these teams gets your preference, and or what are the win conditions exactly for these teams to actually get into the finals? Well,
of course, same as yesterday, both good players, both good teams, both good drafts. But if I have to pick one, I have to go for the red side, for the draft of Beora, because you have a Mundo. I'm a simple man, I see Mundo, I like Mundo. I hope he is able to pull the pick off. And same as yesterday, the Sylas pick into the Ornn is just such a good thing to do in these drafts. So I think they have a really strong shot of winning this, because I'm especially concerned about the late game power of the team and how the blue side team of Vounghuard are gonna cope with that. They're really gonna have to make sure that the early game counts for them, that the AD carries are in a good spot to deal with those beefy threats, because else it's gonna be extremely hard for them to come through. But it depends on the early game. And now we're going into the loading screen. First of all, I want to thank Team THRLL for organizing this event and having us here from Hype Shoutcasting. It's amazing. Day 2, it's gonna be a blast. And of course, I'm glad you're also with me, Bobacek. It's nice that we can do this today.
Thanks for being glad that I'm here. You little sneaky wanker. Nah, we are exactly very glad to be here. We are into loading screen here. Nothing too special, I believe, in these runes and masteries. We do see a spellbook coming out from Ornn, which probably is played quite a lot, aside from his maybe Grasp of the Undying, but I'm assuming Spellbook is a pretty good pick up on to him here. And also, once again, Sylas pick. We saw Thing there play it yesterday. we saw him played really well yesterday and actually win the game, and to me get the MVP of that game as well. So I'm interested to see if he can actually continue to do so, play the game as well as he wants to once again. He's got quite a lot of interesting ultimates to pick from, but I'm assuming most of the time he's just gonna pick the Ornn ultimate, the Call of the Forge God, to just engage and or re-engage into the enemy team.
Yeah, it's such a good counter to him, because once you see that Ornhorn going off, you can just do it yourself and make sure that their team can't move forward to follow up on that ultimate. Because it is scary still. With the Evelyn combo, the Ornn just bumps it in, nobody can move and really react to that Evelyn. But with the Sylas, it is possible. And as I said, it's not gonna be easy for Evelyn to do what she needs to do just because of that Mundo being the one that keeps the whole team at bay at some point, because they only do the AT damage besides her. And you have a Samira, which is kind of an assassin herself, so it's a bit tricky to say who will win that duel. Once she has the lifesteal, she's gonna go for the Immortal Shield Bow. She has the exhaust even, so it's not gonna be such an easy pick as you would normally expect Evelyn to have on other AD carries.
We've seen a lot of AD carries pick up the exhaust in the past few games. I think 2 or 3 times yesterday, maybe even 4 times the AD carry picking up the exhaust because of the threat of one of the enemies just jumping on top of them, being able to get past the peel and the front line that he has to his advantage. But another pause here coming out. Mouse problems apparently on Nerea's Ornn, which gives us a little bit of a chance to talk about this little invade here. Not sure they're going to be able to do anything. Has been spotted out. Nerea gonna be walking right away from this one, and we've seen a couple invades yesterday, and they all actually went really well. So hoping this, for Team Beora to have them execute this one in the same fashion.
Yeah, this is such a nice picture of are they gonna get him or not, because at this point you can just feel Shredder doing the flash hook into the snare from Sylas, and you can get an early pick here on Nerea if you play it well, and of course if he is greedy with his flash, because normally you are gonna blow that just to be safe. Depending if they are willing to invest that so early on. Also see the junglers, Evelyn going for that blue smite and scary mode on the Mundo, rather going for the red one since he is doing decent damage with those auto attacks. The buff from the Sadism definitely does its work with that smite.
Yeah, the blue smite, not 100% sure, correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm not sure. I believe it works on her allure. So
Oof.
the charm.
That is nasty if that works on the allure.
Which could, of course, be a very interesting combination, and one of the big reasons that the Evelyn would actually pick up Blue Smite. Mundo picking up Red Smite, pretty normal, standard thing for him. It has the cleavers to get closer, doesn't really need Blue Smite. If he's in range for the Chilling Smite, he's also in range to hit cleavers. So he's just gonna dish out a little bit more damage with the Red Smite. Mid lane matchup, haven't seen a Lucian in a solo lane yet. What are we expecting from the Lucian Orianna? Because in my opinion, I think Lucian should be able to play that lane rather fine against Orianna.
Well, Lucian, he pretty much shits on most casters in the mid lane. He can just dash forward, do the taps, proc his press the attack and then walk back, and there is little to nothing you can really do about it in the trades, since you are normally as a caster depending on your skills. Now, Orianna, of course, she is possible to start with her shield, giving her extra defensive stats, and her auto attacks are actually useful in comparison to other casters. So maybe Killikan is able to do some trades against him, but normally the prio definitely early on should be for Gil here. So expecting there to give Fightser also some possibility for an invade on the Mundo who is weak early, so maybe they're gonna take advantage of that situation there.
We should be restarting the game any moment now. We see the readies, the unpauses in the chat. There we go, continuing back onto the Rift. Welcome back to the first game of this second day of scouting grounds. And right as I said that, it was
Yapake!
back into a pause. By the way, when I say I unpause, let me do it solo.
All right. Well,
Sure.
it's good that we have a pause because I have to address Scary Mode on his Mundo doesn't have a skin, and I think that is just dread awful because Mundo has so many cool skins. It's one.
Doesn't he have Mundo Mundo?
Is that a Mundo Mundo? It's grey, so I can't even tell which skin it is now because you also have the Toxic Mundo, which is basically Mundo in green.
Could be Toxic. It could be Toxic Mundo.
Could be. But anyway, I would have preferred, of course, the TPA Mundo with the World Cup or the Corporate Mundo, which is, of course, a briefcase in the face is always great to hit, and his lines are just the best in game.
Yeah, I think he's green. Elbel the God on chat. I think he's green as well. So I was mistaken. I think it is going to be the Toxic Mundo into the Scary Mode, into Scary Mode's hands this game.
How many Mundo skins can you name?
Mr. Universe, Mr. Mundo,
Mr. Mundoverse, yes.
Mr. Mundoverse, the briefcase Mundo, Corporate Mundo, yeah. TPA Mundo, Toxic Mundo, Mundo, Rageborn Mundo.
Yes, yeah, definitely.
Executioner Mundo.
Yeah, that's the one.
And that's about it. That's all I got.
There are definitely more, but those are also the only ones that I know, I think.
Damn, and I didn't even look it up on my second screen. And I never play Mundo. Meaning, also, I've been playing this game as you have for 10 years, and I have useless information in my brain.
Which is amazing, like, you know, when people ask you something relevant about history, you're, no, I don't know that, but I can name at least 7 Mundo skins, which is something that no one has asked about. You can.
You're not gonna ask me, but you can't, so I don't even care, it's relevant to me.
It's Toxic Mundo, it's a green one.
It is the green one. We're still trying to get into this game. Not only does Oriana, I think it's Oriana who had mouse problems, and now it looks like
they need to restart.
Kayul had a couple problems here. Gonna restart his computer here before we enter into the first game. We've been at it for 56 seconds at this point. Nothing's happened. We've been pausing more than we've been gaming, which is fine.
Another question for you. How many orange skins can you name?
One, Thunderlord.
Because it's the only one.
Exactly. There it is.
There it is. It was a little tricky question, but he did not fall for it.
Yeah. Elbel the God, what is the ELO asking in chat? I think it's Diamond 2 plus. This game might be Diamond 1 plus, but the requirements to join Scouting Grounds is Diamond 2 plus, so expect yourself to some great games here.
Yeah, there are several masters and some grandmaster. I believe that Malix and Narea are grandmaster, both of them.
Yep.
So, they should know what they're doing. However,
I'm assuming that Diamond 2 players know what they're doing as well. They might just get outplayed a little bit.
It's sometimes a little bit weird because when you play against someone and you're totally clapping him and you're thinking, oh, I'm so good at this game, and then you play someone a few divisions above you and he's clapping you, and then it's like the dog kicks the cat kicks the mouse kind of thing. And here you think they're all so good, and then you have still games where, for example, first game yesterday where Narea with the Kami just totally claps Righteous is Shen out of history, even though Righteous is like a super good player. So that is always weird to see. There is always someone who is in particular games better than the other one.
Narea, as we've touched on before in Champions, like picking up Ornn here. Of course, not only have we picked up on it, but you can also just see it on your screen. Narea picking up the Ornn, something we have talked about before Scouting Grounds actually started this weekend. We talked about him able to pick up an Ornn even last weekend, last Scouting Grounds, where we said, you know what, he can play the Camille, he can play the Beora, he can play those carry top laners, but there's still Ornn, which is also something he can go for. And we hadn't seen it at all out of him, or any other top laners for that matter, until this game here right now. And it's something that I'm very interested in, because normally Narea is, as far as I know, a very mechanical top laner, often strong side top laner, gets a lot of resources put into him, or at least he takes a lot of resources. And now as an Ornn, you could argue that he might be playing weak side to give the Jhin and Lucian a bit more resources this game.
Yeah, it's weird that they put him in that spot, because he is the guy that you expect in games to be this unstoppable force that can split push and really carry games and put pressure. But maybe they agreed upon after the game yesterday, last game that they played, with the rather weird Nico picked up, that they would go for a different tactic this time with the front line. And I'm pretty sure Nerea will be able to show how you can play Ornn, but against the Sylas, it's not gonna be the most easy thing to do for him.
Yeah, and we have finally been able to unpause this game right here, as both teams are gonna start the game eventually, looking for something in the river. Not gonna find anything. Nerea already left there, and it looks like we are back in a pause once more.
But he found the problem.
He found the what?
He found the problem. That's what they write.
Okay, he found the problem.
So they're
okay. It looks like
gamers.
We're getting there, gamers. Let's go, gamers. All right, we're getting close to actually starting this this game right here. Hoping to not be waiting a lot longer. Of course, we all know that it can only take no longer than 19 minutes and a half before the game actually. What happens? Do they forfeit the game if they pause for too long?
I think they can't pause it anymore, so then they have to play 4v5.
Ooh, that could actually be the case as well.
But I guess in an official tournament with technical issues, you just restart, no?
Yeah, you probably just restart. There's more like referees at hand at points like this. So, you know, right now we're just trying to fix it. Well, we're not trying to fix anything. They're trying to fix it. We're just trying to keep the stream alive and entertained, I guess.
Holding on for dear life.
Sweat dripping down my forehead. Hoping we're going to be able to start here. I mean, it's good that they found the problem. Looks like we're going to be unpausing the game here. Hopefully this time, when I say welcome back everybody to Summoner's Rift for this first game between both teams, Team Vanguard or Vounghuard, still not sure how to pronounce that, on the blue side, and Team Beora on red side. Both teams battling it out here in a best of one, meaning that the winner of this game goes through to the finals to play versus Team Series, and the loser is gonna have to say goodbye to us for today. I am very, very hyped about these upcoming games.
Hopefully it is gonna be a very close match, because yesterday there were some one-sided games. But, of course, they keep getting better, keep learning from each other, so this should be an interesting match. Already some aggression on that bot side with Nilan and Shredder. Of course, have the good synergy with the Nautilus CC for the proc, for the Samira passive. Can do something on that bot lane, because they are very dependent on their abilities, and they're already going for Malik to put down some damage, but of course the aftershock should keep him alive.
Yeah, Shredder and Nylan hitting level 2 first. Of course, their wave pushing just started a bit earlier, and they were able to get level 2 out of that quite easily. Also in top lane, by the way, we see the Nerea Ornn go for the biscuits on top of the corruption potion, meaning he's just there to most likely farm and stay in lane in hopes of Thingdaren not able to do the same.
Yeah, it's a little bit of a weird state, because when you're playing a big tank like Ornn, you do not expect him to totally destroy the enemy laner. It's more like it's big for the team. He has ultimate for the team fights. However, Ornn does surprising amounts of damage in the 1v1 as well, if you get caught in the knockup. With his passive damage, the brittle procs. So he has to watch out, because as you can see, the poke is sticking to Sylas, and without his items he is not that tanky.
Both junglers going dead even in a farm at this point, not expecting too crazy things. Still feel like the Mundo is a bit of a strange pick here. Don't know why Scary Mode necessarily wanted to pick up a Mundo. Maybe he's very convinced that he's OP in this patch. I haven't seen him at all, and I don't really understand what he's going to bring here, aside from an extra frontliner for the Orianna and Nylan. who should be able to survive these fights unless the Alistair actually is able to reach them. And Evelyn should be able to follow up on those engages.
Both junglers mirroring each other, going to the Raptor camp, taking it back for Pfizer. And as you can see, Evelyn, of course, pre-6, she isn't permanently invisible at that point, so she kinda needs that level to do those crazy ganks, of which you cannot really ward against her in the lane. You really have to make sure that you have some deep vision and that you know where she is on the map at all time. To make sure that she isn't gonna snowball out of control, because that is a big problem in solo queue. Might be able to meet them in the jungle, because the scary mode is spotting fighter there.
Scary mode running around in the wrong side of the jungle. Now both bottom lanes moving as well. Gayul is part of the fight to gonna try and pick up some damage onto Mundo, but look at the flash coming through from Evelyn, just not being able to reach Mundo with the charm, and he gets out with his own flash.
They trade flashes, feel some pressure from the mid lane. You see you having the priority there, so it was a little bit risky for Scary Mode to invade there, knowing that Gillikin would never be able to be there sooner than his counterpart. But he gets out and only does an equal trade for flash, so that's fine. Little engage from Malik. Not going too deep here, but taking a lot of damage in return.
He finds a double knockup in bottom lane on both Nautilus and his Samira. But the trading damage comes in through there while Mundo is moving towards this bottom lane at this point.
He's gonna be spotted in the Tribush, but they gotta pick up Melix.
It looks like they're looking for a fight. The exhaust comes down on Melix as well, so he's gonna have to run for his life. Rusty Sniper needs maybe 1 or 2 more auto attacks on Shredder to pick up that first blood, which still after 6 minutes has not fallen. So it's a pretty safe game at this point from both teams.
Yeah, you have to watch out because they do not have the Summer Spell heal on the red side at this point. So if he would be flashing with the execute, they can't pop that. They need to make sure that exhaust lands on him before he shoots the bullet, or Shredder will die. So gotta watch out for that one. Since they know that they have Prio now on the bot lane, they can pick up their first Drake pretty much for free. Ocean always good for that sustain delay, and Maria goes in ham.
I think they're going really low, gonna get sorry, I was gonna say ignited, but it's just burned from the Ornn, and Ornn does find first blood after the Call of Forge God was stolen there. And well, Nerea is not playing the typical I'm gonna carry this game top laner, but he does find first blood.
Hits it with that Volcanic Rupture for the first blood. Well played by him. Was close though, Fang. There did get some nice trades in, but of course Silas kinda item reliant, especially that second item gonna help him out so much in those trades. But will be delayed a little bit with that pickup for Nerea. Meanwhile, they have the Drake picked up. Next one is the Cloud Drake, so we might have a possible Infernal or Mountain Drake. And Mountain Drake this game is actually a really big deal compared to the games we saw yesterday, because we have a tank fest on our hands this time.
Yeah, I was just gonna touch on that. We saw a lot of Mountain Souls coming out yesterday, while Lucian trying to find a kill on Killikin's Orianna. Not gonna find it with the culling, gonna chunk her really low. Going back to the Mountain Rift, we saw it yesterday a couple of times, 2 or 3, and it was never really the, oh my god, it's a Mountain Rift, they're full of tanks. This is actually the first game where that could be a possibility, which makes me think that Riot's gonna cuck us and just give the Infernal Soul.
This is an Infernal Soul, it has already been confirmed, we just have to see it on the screen. So, not much to do about that. Meanwhile, we see Scary Mode doing some invades left and right, trying to get the ganks in, and fights are just playing that farm game, not doing too much, but once he's in the position, got the Sorcerer Shoes, is invisible now, probably gonna take some ganks in now. There are possibilities, because you have on top a Silas with no flash, and Ornn who is pretty tanky can take some turret damage, so if they want, they should be able to get a dive in there.
And at this point there's a bit more than a 1k gold lead, 1.2, 1.3k gold lead onto the blue side. They are just out farming at this point in both top and mid lane by 10 to 15 CS each, meaning there's a bit of a goal difference right there. First Drake of the game did not go to them, so I mean red side has a chunk of the game for them there. Where are these teams gonna win? Are we gonna go to the mid-game team fights and end it there? Is there which team scales better? As Nerea does have to look out for his life here. Now it's not Nerea who has to look out, it's Mundo getting completely bonked on. And now Gayul is part of this fight as well. Pfizer with the Evelyn is there, and it looks like they're gonna be looking for this first Herald of the game as it is being pinged. Back to the question. Which team scales better? Which team wants the early part of the game? Which team wants the late part of the game?
And this is the thing that I was a little bit afraid of, that yeah, the red side is going a little bit too aggressive with the invades from scary mode, while Mundo is not in his prime shining moment. If we're talking about scaling, my first opinion would be that the red side is the better scaling team, but of course you have that Ornn on the blue side, which changes everything, makes that every single champion on that team gets an extra upgrade to their items. So it is a bit balanced, but still you have the problem with the 2 AD carries and the Mundo being able to go full armor, and that will just hurt your potential of winning a fight so much in the late game that I still think that they do have the advantage. So what the red side wants to do now is not play a really fast pace of the game, they want to slow it down, because you need the Mundo to be strong and get the items, and definitely make sure that they do not have this Vet, Evelyn, Lucian or Jhin on their hands, because then they will be able to Shrek a Mundo who is not built for the late game yet. Meanwhile, fights are going for mid.
They are gonna be able to find the charm, and the execution by Evelyn and her mid laner, his mid laner, is rather perfect. Evelyn, of course, being able to get out of that turret range as well, picking up a kill on mid lane, and then instantly popping Herald, which is gonna get them really close to the first turret of this game.
It's exactly what the blue sides want, of course, because you have the Evelyn who is above level 6 now. Finally she can stealth gank all the lanes that she wants, and Orianna, who is not really mobile, can't do much except for flash, but if that is wasted then you get the charm of Killikin is guaranteed to die there. So basically Pfizer can do this over and over again. Killikin cannot move forward in his lane, meaning that Pfizer basically is all the space that he needs to invade in the jungle and yeah, get some free money in the pocket. And now, even though the gank happened, they are gonna see the second Drake secured for the team of Beora.
Despite a 3000 gold lead, which is quite significant at this point in the game for blue side, are going to be giving up this second Drake of the game. Either they want to give it up and they don't care, or they are just you know, poorly timing their bases. I didn't really pay attention to that quite yet, but it seems to me like they're just giving these up because they don't find it to be important, and it is a mountain soul. Yay!
Yeah, so it is actually a really good rift in this game, as we talked about. And yeah, Evelyn, she just used all her abilities, same as the Gulling of Lucian, for the gank in the mid lane, and everything was up on the red side. So they couldn't really contest that Drake at that time. If they would have done that gank a little bit later, they could have transitioned, but in this case it wasn't possible. Meanwhile, Vendetta missing his ultimate. Oh, yeah, there.
Too bad he does miss the ultimate. Evelyn once again in the bottom lane. Nerea being able to pull out the combination, but those heals, as you said, are insane. Teleport coming through, Mundo was there, and because of the teleport, Gayul finds it, but now scary mode is just, he doesn't care. I don't carry mode.
That was a lot of damage on the Lucian. Pfizer here, but I don't think he can kill scary mode now, because he just used the ultimate on the mid lane. And Killikin, it says, as we spoke about, he doesn't have flash, they can just keep ganking that lane, even though he is at the turret, one step forward and it's dead. So that is just a thing that Pfizer is going to do over and over again, and make sure that Pfizer and Gale are both fed out of their minds, so they can close this game early enough for their double ADC not to be tired.
You saw a lot of healing coming down there. As the teleport here in bot lane, Nautilus's ult has come through as well, and now the Jhin ultimate coming through. Nerea going rather low here, gonna offer himself to the gods of red side, and now the stun from Thingdera connects eventually with Rusty Sniper. He's gonna have to pay attention now that he doesn't get dove, but the Nautilus is really low, not gonna use his hook there, and they seem to back off.
So it is a one fight for Beora's team there, but they do pick up the first turret on the mid lane, so a little bit of a gold trade. However, this might be low become Medica. Aftershock might come alive, but here's the Alistar ult.
He's actually stealing the Alistar ult to go in for the dive. Great flash there, but finds the chains to CC Alistar. Look at the heals once again. Fighter not being able to do a lot here. Looks like Mundo is on his way, Ornn is on his way, everybody's basically on their way. And eventually, Thingdera just runs away with the kill.
Really well played by him, and you can feel that this silence is gonna be a problem. After he's able to buy some items, he's gonna be very hard to kill, and as you said, they will need some healing reduction on the side of Vounghuard's team, and that is not the case at this point, so if they do not invest in it, they will lose out some fights that they should win otherwise.
Mundo flashing there. Looking to connect with his cleaver to find a slow on Nerea. Not sure that was the greatest play. Even if the cleaver hit, they probably would not have been able to take down Nerea there. Already finishing that Infernal Aegis a couple of minutes ago, but now we do have a fight in the top lane, joined in by Gaiul's Lucian, and they're gonna go really hard onto Nilan's Samira. And the next one on the chopping block is Shredder's Nautilus, looking like he is probably not gonna get away as it gets smacked into the ground. Now in the bottom side of the river, another fight. Mundo going really low, of course, and eventually even just dies to another kill for Evelyn, who, by the way, at this point 3-0-1, so they're gonna have to be really careful about that one.
Scaramouche stacking that armor there when he meets Evelyn. He will not be able to survive that execute, because that is of course the thing. You wanna use the ultimate for Mundo when you are low HP, but that is when Evelyn is just gonna smack you down. So don't want to go in that fight yet. Well, Thingdera and Nerea switching lanes, now heading to go in the bot lane. And you just can't really say who is stronger of those two, because the trades are fairly even. But as long as there is... I was gonna say if there is no healing reduction, but the Bramble Vest is finally coming through for Nerea there, so maybe this is a game changer for him.
They have a tiny bit of healing reduction right now. Of course, Silas being in that solo lane with the Ornn is gonna be hitting him quite a lot, making the Bramble Vest a rather useful buy, as both teams looking to fight for this dragon. It's gonna be the first one that blue side is actually looking to contest, as it goes half HP. Hex Flash from Shredder coming through. The Curtain's Call is gonna come in, and we're gonna keep our eyes on Pfizer here to see if he can actually steal the Drake. I think they're going real low. Gaiul picking that one up. The dragon does not go to blue side. It's the third one for red side, but now Nerea and his team might be able to pick up the extra kills. Great engager by Alistar, getting rid of Shredder, who's now... No, he eventually does get him down. Killikin's going really low. Gonna get the Brittle proc onto him. Maybe the Jhin hitbox is the weirdest thing in the world. Definitely a strange hitbox there. Killikin must have been... I think he already sent the ticket to Riot, saying this is impossible. And now this does not look good here. Killikin maybe in trouble.
No way.
My god,
No
he actually
way.
goes down. Nerea. Inting.
And you can see Scary Mode as well. He did take so much shots from the Jhin, but it doesn't matter. He's full armor, so you're not gonna do that much damage to him. And Killikin gets away there. Even the kill on Nerea falls. So team fight was in favor of blue side, but with the end and the aftermath, they do get the Drake, and they're on the soul point now. If they can get the next Drake, then this was a huge play by the team of Beora, because all the extra stats, extra shields will help them immensely. Not only for the tanks, but Nilan was able to get off that Inferno trigger. If he has an extra shield, gets a little bit longer, is able to get lifesteal there, he will not die in that fight. And if that happens, then yeah, it's an easy winnable fight for Beora right there.
And now we do see some fighting going on in the top lane as Evelyn does pick up the kill eventually onto Silas. Look at that culling Lucian at this point. 6-2 and 4, 4-1 and 4 Evelyn. These two guys are gonna do a lot of damage. They're gonna do so much damage. As you see, they're completely bursted. And now Nerea can go ham on Killikin here in the bottom lane, who is gonna be able to yeet out of there eventually. But the damage from Evelyn and Lucian at this point is just insane, and it gives them another Herald opportunity.
As we said, the early game and the mid game is in favor of blue side if they can get the good picks with that Lucian and the Evelyn, and they're doing exactly that, getting that Rift Herald again for them to charge down the lane, speeding up the pace of the game, making sure that Mundo doesn't go crazy. Mundo is picking up the Spectral Cowl, so he's kind of paying a respect to the Evelyn that is getting slightly fed as well. Vounghuard coming through.
Vounghuard coming through to either stop the base or clear the wave, or maybe a little bit of both, while Mundo is also in the bottom lane picking up the Grumpy, clearing up some waves of... Sorry, some wards, not some waves. What are clearing waves?
Some waves of wards that have been placed there.
Waves of wards. Anyways, red side 7,000 gold behind. However, they are on a mountain soul point here, which could give them an edge over blue side to actually win the fights. Because at this point, yes, Eve and Lucian are very strong, but of course with that mountain soul, they're going to be able to deny quite some extra damage. And the question is, are they going to keep winning the fights hard? Or is red side going to be able to actually run them over if they've managed to get this mountain soul?
And it says, you say, okay, they're 7,000 gold behind, but it doesn't feel that way, especially not in the way that the games felt yesterday, where one side was clearly stomping the other. The value of the Drakes is also considerable, especially if they can get the next one, then it's a very well even game. And now there is still much possibilities for the red side to win a team fight if they can get the right engage. And yeah, this is definitely not it. There in the top.
This does not look like a place There wants to be. He did steal the Alistar ult, making him pretty tanky. The Zonius is going to come out as well, but he does go down, also baiting Shredder into the fight, who eventually has to give his life to make sure that his AD carry does survive. But the damage from Evelyn at this point with that slice at the end is just too much to deal with.
Yeah, the dive comp of blue side is so strong because you have the Evelyn who can just whiff off the aggro with the ultimate, and Malek's Alistar who can take over with no risk at all once he pops his ultimate. So very hard to counter that when you have one of your members being picked off early on, especially if it's Fengdera, who is so important to counter that ward engagement. And I'm not sure if you want to chase this because Evelyn's still waiting for you.
They are focusing down the Mundo, or at least trying to slow him down, maybe not necessarily focus him down. There's a lot of vision coming down here again, and engage spotted here. Fengdera goes down very early on in this fight. Now Nerea trying to keep the rest of the team busy, goes really low, gets a shield at the end, flashes out, but it does get taken down eventually. A 1-for-1 trade. We have the next Drake up. This, of course, why they are fighting so much. Gonna find another 2 kills here, both for one for each team. Now Gayul and Jin still alive, still able to do a lot of damage. Both junglers are down, so not sure if they actually are gonna go for this Drake. But it looks like red side is gonna give it up.
Normally they should give it up because they lost the fight here, and Lucian, very scary at this point of view, playing it well, 8-2 and 8. Showing us what the Lucian can do with the newly built Kraken Slayer, who will transform, of course, in the Worm Slayer or something-ish when the ornaments are coming through. The person that already knows the ornaments by heart now, that's a maniac. That's all I can say.
He's a maniac. Yeah, no, and the Kraken Slayer from the ornament. It's a weird thing. It's it's something like worm fallen sacrifice. Is that the thing?
Yeah, that's just disgusting.
Yeah, worm fallen sacrifice. That's a name that we're not gonna remember, so I'm not even gonna try to go there. as both teams are now hovering around, especially red team hovering around this Baron buff. They're gonna have to pay attention though to the bottom side wave, pinging it heavily at this point, and blue side pinging the red side jungle of their enemy team, trying to get control vision-wise of this Baron area.
And as we said, if they want to end this game early, Baron is ideal. Taking over that vision kind of forces the red side to come into the jungle and walk into the trap, because they have such good engage with the Ornn and the Alistar. Even Evelyn can pretty much go in freely with that ultimate to get out. And yeah, by now everyone has been caught out before the fight on the side of Beora's team. And that's a big problem if you wanna win a team fight here, because yeah, you're never gonna do that for a fight. So Vounghuard needs to be the one who has the Ornn ultimate available to either counter it or engage himself when he sees that the team of Vounghuard is split. So I want to see it from him, but with the pressure that is on the bot lane, they kind of have to go 4v5, and this could very well be a game-ending play for them.
Blue side actually going in here. Team Vounghuard going for Baron buff. Teleport comes out. That's going to be Killikin joining in on the fight. Baron going really low at this point. Nerea trying to keep him busy. Hopefully can charge his ultimate once again. That's a very weird interaction. Great shockwave in the backline there, but it's not going to do any damage. And they just get completely 100-0. Nylon is going to try to do something about it, but he gets, well, picked up rather easily by the culling from Gayul, who goes 9-2-10 this game. Perfect game by Rusty Sniper on his Jhin, who is clearly not Rusty, but a sniper nonetheless. And the first Nexus turret is gonna go down. The second Nexus turret is gonna be eyed down by the blue side. Team Vounghuard is gonna be able to find the win here over Team Beora. GG, well played. GG's coming out in the chat from red side at this point. Nexus is gonna go down, meaning we have to say goodbye to Team Beora, but of course meaning that Team Vounghuardeo is going into the finals versus our very own Team Series, who showed a lot of strength and promise yesterday's games.
Series was really unbeatable yesterday with convincing wins over every game that they played. I think they already played Vounghuard as well, because of course they kicked them down into the lower bracket. Hopefully with this game under their belt they have some morale to take over the game in the final and resist some of that power that Series is bringing. But of course that is a game that we will be seeing next. With some damage graphs here. Of course, yeah, it was to be expected that Gale Solution was gonna be the winner there. Anyway, we will be right back with the first game of the finals. You do not want to miss it. Who is gonna take it home? Series or Vounghuard? Let us know in the chat, and see you in around 5 minutes.